Sofia stared at the altar, her heart pounding, the words of John 3:16 echoing in her mind. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. She had stumbled into church that Sunday morning, tangled in questions, burdened by grief. Her father had died 6 months ago, and the pain still felt fresh. She sat in the wooden pew, toes brushing the kneeler, church's lights filtering through stained glass, bathing the sanctuary in pastel calm. As the choir began their hymn, Sofia's mind wandered. How could this God of love allow her father to die, she thought. How is this love real? When the congregation rose to recite the creed, her eyes drifted to the crucifix, the same phrase, John 3:16, carved into a silver pin around her neck. She pressed it gently. He died for me, for all of us. At the reading of Scripture, the lector proclaimed the verse aloud with trembling voice. Sofia felt tears well up. The words released a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. In the silence that followed, a gentle prayer from the priest echoed. Beloved, God did not abandon us. He loved us so deeply, he became one of us to show the way back to him. Sofia bowed her head, the fullness of meaning unfolding. God's love wasn't theoretical, it was sacrificial. His Son had laid down everything so that broken people like her could become whole again. The tomb couldn't hold him, but in her own poverty of spirit, she was afraid she'd be buried by grief forever. But seeing that crucifix, hearing the words of John 3:16 in a holy place, she felt a warmth flood her chest like sunrise through a dark window. It felt like forgiveness, like healing. After Mass, she approached the confessional line and waited with trembling hope. Once inside, she poured out her pain, her doubt, her anger at God. The priest listened, prayed blessings over her, and spoke of resurrection, not just Christ's, but ours. That afternoon, as Sofia walked out under a sky bright with spring warmth, her grief hadn't disappeared, but it carried new light. She whispered softly to herself, "Yes, God loved me, even me, and he loves those I lost too." Weeks turned into months. Sofia returned each Sunday, began volunteering in the church's bereavement ministry. She discovered other hearts scarred by loss, but healing through the same verse, through the same love. Together, they formed a small support group. One evening, under glowing candles, Sofia looked around at the faces, some tear-streaked, others smiling quietly, and heard her own voice guiding a prayer. Let us remember John 3:16, that God so loved us, that we may live. In that circle of light and love, she realized the verse was more than words. It was a story she now lived, a story of death turned to life, sorrow turned to hope. A story that began on a cross and continues in every broken heart that dares to trust in his love.